I know first-hand story. One particular guy was a supposedly, I don't know if it was a rabbi or not, but definitely very active in the religious community, also well-to-do in business. He went and used witchcraft for something like 10 years straight. He would go to the same woman every month or every week to do all types of witchcraft for him, to tell him what to do with his business deals. The guy comes with the kippah and the tefillin and everything. Goes to the witch literally every month. Asur b'Torah, it's forbidden. It creates all types of horrible things. It's forbidden. But the guy he went one time. He saw good results. He told him that if he does this, this, and that, good things are going to happen. He tried it. It worked out. He figured, that's my Rabbi now. That's my Bitachon now. Guess what? Aside from it being forbidden according to the Torah, a huge, huge sin, aside from that, by doing that, a person is destroying their own Emunah and Bitachon. They're destroying, because now they're figuring, no, I don't need to have Emunah and Bitachon. I can just go to this person. I don't need to have Emunah and Bitachon. I can just call him and he'll save me. I can call her and she'll save me. Now, where does this really stem from? Because to just say, when push comes to shove, pass the test, everything's going to, and trust in Hashem, it's easy to say. That's what the Chazon Ish says. It's easy to say. But really what would help us if we only knew what causes us to fail. To just have Emunah and Bitachon in Hashem, and be a champion, be a tzaddik, that's great. Thank you very much. It's not really going to help me though. Tell me the root of my problem. Tell me, why do I keep failing when push comes to shove? I read Chovot HaLevavot, I read the Chazon Ish, I read this one, I read that one, I watch the lectures every week, and I keep failing. The guys, Rabbi, okay, fine, you're telling me have Emunah Bitachon. Every rabbi tells me have Emunah and Bitachon. And I'm watching lectures every day. I wake up in the morning, emunahbitachon.com, and I go. And I watch it, and I say, yeah, Rabbi, I'm going to have Emunah Bitachon, have Emunah Bitachon, have Emunah Bitachon. At some point during that month, some bomb explodes in front of my face, and the Emunah and Bitachon explodes with it. Why do I keep failing? Baruch Hashem, we have the answer. Not me. The Gaon Mivilna. The Gaon Mivilna, Rabotai Karim, says that there's a verse in the Torah, that's perhaps one of the most manipulated verses in the secular world today. Why? Because people simply want to do whatever they want. They don't want to learn Torah, so they make up whatever they want. There's a verse in the Torah that says, Tzaddik be'emunato yichyeh. Tzaddik be'emunato yichyeh is in Habakkuk chapter 2, verse number 4, which means that a righteous person, a tzaddik, shall live through his emunah. Now, the secular people, especially in the Israeli world, they say, Ish be'emunato yichyeh. A person will live with his own emunah, meaning that you have your belief, I have my belief, everybody has their beliefs, everybody do whatever they want. That's what secular-minded, trying to find how to subverse, manipulate it, to just change one word. Instead of tzaddik, put ish. Doesn't sound so bad, but it changes the meaning completely. Ish be'emunato yichyeh means pretty much everybody can just do whatever they want. You have your belief, I have one of my beliefs, like the Americans say, live and let live. You live your life, I live my life, you leave me alone, I leave you alone. There's no such thing in Judaism. There is no such thing in Ish be'emunato yichyeh. A person will live with his own emunah. No such thing. Tzaddik be'emunato yichyeh has a completely different meaning. And it doesn't mean that the righteous person has emunah and that's why he's going to live. No. The Gaon Mivilna says that a tzaddik is a person that has perfected his neshama to the point that's connected with his desire to have more. He's perfected his neshama. מצדיק את נפשו במידת ההסתפקות. הפך החמדה. He is perfected his neshama in regards to the character trait of simply being satisfied with what he has, and he's gone to the point where he's the opposite of a desiring person. Meaning, whatever he has, he's perfectly fine with. That's a tzaddik, the Gaon Reuven says. What's an example of that? Rav Mordechai Eliyahu, alav shalom, before he became the Rishon LeZion, many people respected him, but money and so on wasn't exactly flourishing. So the driver that would take him to his shiurim was a regular person, and his car was like one of those cars from the first cars ever made, just that it hasn't been updated. So when it drove down the road, the whole neighborhood, 3 blocks away, knew also. Tiny little Taranta, makes a lot of noise. Pretty much you have to pray for it to turn on, pray even harder for it to stop, that kind of vehicle. So that's what would take him. Mordechai Eliyahu, wherever he went, you knew exactly where he was because his driver would take him. And it was a volunteer, it wasn't Anyway, he took him, and one day, the Rav Mordechai Eliyahu was selected to become the Rishon LeZion, the head rabbi of Israel. So at that point, first of all, there's a salary that comes with it. Second of all, there's a lot more recognition. So the Safra family, very wealthy, I believe, Syrian family, they give a lot of kavod to Rabbanim. So donated $1 million car, a million shekel car. In Israel, everything is like 4 times the price. But it's a high-end car. I think it was like a BMW or Mercedes, which in those days was still uncommon. In essence, the equivalent of like $300,000 in American money. $1 million shekel car, donated to a rabbi, brand new car, and so on. So after one of the events, the rabbi comes, and you have this beautiful car, pristine. The leather is still saying moo, still so fresh. And then all of a sudden, the car that from the past, but it's still alive, shows up, and Rav Mordechai Eliyahu starts walking towards his regular car. He said, no, Kvod Harav, this is your new car. You go to this one. He goes, no, what do I need this car for? No, I have this one. This is good. He goes, no, but Kvod Harav, this car is like, it's $5 away from being a plane. Drive this one. This is nice. It's quiet. It's nice. He goes, no, this one is perfectly fine. I'm used to the chairs. I'm used to everything. He goes, yeah, but Kvod Harav, it's so noisy. He goes, yeah, Baruch Hashem, I'm used to the noise. Well, even the Kohen Gadol, the Torah says that every walking makes some noise with the bells on his uniform. Baruch Hashem. No, but Kvod Harav, it's not kavod for the Torah. It's such a car for the Rishon LeZion, the head rabbi of Israel. He goes, but not kavod. This is a garbage pail that goes from one place to another, and this is a garbage pail that goes from one place to another. They're both garbage pails. That's midat ha'istabkut. That's having perfected the desiring character trait. That's when a person has simply perfected their trait of desiring things. Because as we all know, one of the 10 commandments is lo tachmod. Do not desire. Don't desire your neighbor's wife. Don't desire his house either. Don't desire his money. Don't desire his account. Don't desire his anything. Not allowed to be jealous of anybody. Lo tachmod. The Gaon Reuven gives us something extraordinary here. He says that a person that's a tzaddik has perfected this desire to the point that he's happy with whatever he has. And then he continues saying, Ba'al Bitachon, someone that owns Bitachon, is the opposite of someone that has desires. Meaning that a person that has perfected this trait to become tzaddik is also Baal Bitachon. Why? Because if he's Baal Bitachon, he's happy with whatever he has. If he's happy with whatever he has no desire for anything else. Why? Because whatever HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave me, Ishtabach Shemo La'ad, thank you very much for my little taranta. Thank you for my big house. Thank you for my small house. Thank you for the small chair. Thank you for the big chair. Thank you, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, for whatever I have. Ishtabach Shemo. He has no desires for anything more than what HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives him, because he knows that whatever HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave him, that's the best possible thing. That's a gift from Abba. What can it get better than that? He has no desires for anything that he doesn't have. None whatsoever. That's a tzaddik. That's a tzaddik. A person that has come to the point where he controls his desires. He doesn't walk by his neighbor's house and starts measuring up his house, says, you know what? This house, I'm going to get this house. No, this is better for me than for him. He looks at the guy's car, he goes, guy probably stole it. How did he buy this car? He starts desiring other people's stuff, jealousy, starts saying lashon. All types of bad things come from desire. That's out of control. Now you're allowed to be ambitious. You're allowed to be ambitious. But what are you ambitious about? Are you ambitious about more materialism? A bigger house so you can show off? A nicer car so you could show off? More money so you could buy more things to make sins with? Or are you ambitious to more depei Gemara, more mitzvot, more Torah, a bigger house to have more guests for Shabbat, for holidays, to have, are you desiring these materialistic things for sins, for recognition, for kavod, or are you desiring them for mitzvot? So no, I want a bigger house, I'm going to have guests, and you have guests once a year. The reality is a person needs to know why he desires what he desires. And if a person lives his life in such a way where he's constantly more, he just can never have enough, is a very sick person. But worse yet, aside from being sick, he is self-destructing his bitachon. Because the Gaon Vilna says, to have bitachon, you have to become a tzaddik. What's a tzaddik? A tzaddik is somebody that's content and happy and ecstatic with whatever's on his plate. If there's 3 peas on his plate, ishtabach shemo, thank you very much. If there's 400 with a steak next to it, it's the same exact thank you very much. It's the same exact thank you very much. This is one of the most amazing traits that a person can gift themselves, at least to aspire to become like that. Because if a person is constantly going to chase more and more stuff, the Gemara in Masechet Sukkah says, "Oev kesef lo yizba kesef." Someone that loves money is never going to have enough money. Someone that is simply desiring more material, more, and literally tries to acquire every materialistic ambition that he or she has, they'll never have enough. This goes with every aspect of a person's life. So much so that the Gaon Vilna right now, also this chidush that he gave us, that the lack of control of desire is what actually makes a person not a tzaddik. In essence, what he's also telling us in nicer terms is that if the person doesn't know how to control his desire, that's a rasha. If every time he sees something, how much you pay for that? How much you pay for that? Wow, yeah? Oh, I'm going to get one. Yeah, no, I'm going to... Everything. How much? Where? Everything. He wants his hand in everything. That's a rasha. That's a rasha. How do we know for sure that's a rasha? How do we know this is something Kadosh Baruch Hu hates? Maybe it's just an elective. Some people say, listen, I believe in Hashem, but I don't have, bitachon like you. Like as if it's like, an elective. This is an obligation. How do we know it's an obligation? Because we all know that we're not allowed to be Reshayim. So how do we know? HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells Moshe Rabbeinu, 10 times your people have tested me. 10 times they tested me in the desert. What they tested, every one of the tests is bitachon test. Every one of the tests is a bitachon test, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says. They didn't believe in me that I was going to give them manna. They didn't believe in me that I'm going to give them water. They didn't believe in me that I was going to save them from the Egyptian. They didn't believe in me, and this and this and that. 10 times they tested Hashem. Now the Gaon Vilna says, what is lack of bitachon? Lack of bitachon means it only happens because we're chomdim. We want other stuff that we don't have. We lack bitachon because we're not happy with what we have, because we're too busy wanting something else. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu says he almost destroyed us 10 times Because we didn't trust him. Not because we didn't trust him, but because we were violating the 10 commandments. One of them is, lo tachmod. Don't desire other things. In reality, Bitachon has something to do with every one of the 10 commandments. Whether it's I'm the only God who took you out of Egypt, or don't believe in idols and keep Shabbat, every one of those mitzvot has something connection to Bitachon. If you don't have Bitachon, you'll work on Shabbat because you don't believe that you'll have enough money during the first 6 days. If you don't have Bitachon Hashem, you're probably not going to believe that He's the one who took us out of Egypt. You figured that it was some type of civil war or something. If you don't have Bitachon, you'll fall for some idolatry if push comes to shove, like this religious guy just said. If you don't have Bitachon, you'll curse God because you're not happy with what He gives you. You don't have Bitachon, you'll steal. You don't have Bitachon, you'll curse your parent. You don't have Bitachon, you'll do everything wrong. But specifically and directly and precisely, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, you didn't have Bitachon. And the Gaon Emunah says, what does it mean not having Bitachon? Not having Bitachon, it's only because you're too busy wanting what you don't have. She has a nice dress. Instead of saying a compliment, wow, you're so tznuah, you're so modest, you look good in this, what are you saying? I look better in that dress. How much you pay for that dress? Where'd you get that dress? What do you care what she gets that dress? Why don't you just give her a nice word and that's it? Why do you care so much about everything else? Why are you so busy about wanting to buy everything and get your hands in everything? Why aren't you just happy with your dress, your job, your money, your house, your stuff? Yeah, but I don't have like car. So why you don't have like car? Who says that you're supposed to have like car? Who says you're supposed to have like everybody else? What is this, communism? Everybody has the same exact thing except the leaders? People have to understand that when you're so busy desiring other people's stuff, it makes you an evil person. It makes you an evil person by default. Why? Because you're constantly jealous of other people, which the Gemara says anyone that's jealous is not going to be resurrected with the dead. But that's because jealousy and desiring other people's stuff is kfirah. It's heresy. It's heresy. It's a degree of heresy because having jealousy, desiring stuff that she has and he has and everything that everybody else has and not what you have is heresy, because in essence it's telling HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you made a mistake. You gave her what you were supposed to give me. You gave him what you were supposed to give me. That's heresy. That's telling HaKadosh Baruch Hu you made a mistake. And that's what Am Yisrael failed at. In the desert 10 times. They kept mentioning, look, in Egypt we had this. They sold themselves a delusion as if they had good stuff back then. That's how focused they were about other stuff and not what they have. They forsake the good that Hashem gave them because they were too busy desiring something else that they don't have. And this, Rabotai, is one of the things that a person can easily fix. Easily fix. Stop looking at other people's profiles on Facebook. Stop looking at their pictures. Stop looking at other people's lives. Stop reading about celebrities' lifestyles and watching shows about their life. Stop asking everybody the price they paid for stuff. Stop asking people if they bought or they rent a house. Stop asking people financial questions and measuring and sizing people up. Simply stop it. Best yet, stop talking about people that you know or people you don't know, but in a way where you're talking about their stuff. It's literally the lowest form of conversation. When a person has nothing intellectual to say, all he says is stuff about other people that's not relevant to him in any way. The fact that he or she bought a new house or has a big house or has a new wife or has 4 kids or has no kids, it has no impact on your life whatsoever. To talk about it means you have literally zero in your brain. It's the lowest form of conversation. But in addition to that, if that's not enough, it's a sin that actually makes a person evil within a short period of time. Why? Because you get yourself used to talking about other people, and therefore you have to think about other people, and therefore you have to start desiring what they have, what they don't have, competing against them, and you forget the gifts that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives you. You forget it. You forget your connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You forget HaKadosh Baruch Hu even exists. You can go pray in the Beit Knesset and not think about Hashem for 2 minutes. Why? You're too busy looking at his new talit. You're too busy looking at his tefillin and see, wow, it's a new box. It's silver. Wow, where do you get that from? How much did it cost? Gemara Masechet Shabbat says you're not allowed to have any thoughts other than HaKadosh Baruch Hu when you have tefillin on. Why are you so busy? Sometimes you have people that are so busy looking at other people's stuff that they start showing off as a result of it to make it seem as if they're doing okay also. So what do? They go to shul, they put on their tefillin, and they take selfie pictures of themselves to show people like they're doing well, they're righteous, and they have a new tefillin on, and they have a new talit on. Habibi, you're not allowed to do that. You're not thinking about Hashem when you're taking a selfie. You're not thinking about Hashem when you're comparing yourself to everybody else. Having a tefillin on is literally having a FaceTime conversation with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And you're worried about a selfie? Why? Desiring other people's stuff. When you desire other people's stuff, which is, again, it doesn't even have to necessarily be a specific person, just stuff you don't have, you are constantly trying to keep up with the Joneses. You're constantly trying to show the world that you're not so far behind, or perhaps maybe you're even ahead. This literally ruins a person's life because it'll never be enough. Because the only thing that's enough is Hashem. When you have Hashem in your life, whatever you have is perfect. Why? Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu is perfect. When you don't have Hashem in your life, nothing will ever be enough. Nothing will ever be enough. Now, even if you say you have Hashem in your life, and like I said, you can even be a speaker and a rabbi and all that stuff, and still be a cheater in business, and still be a liar when it comes to your beliefs. Why? Because sometimes people don't do enough introspection, self-checking, to know where they really stand. They're too busy measuring everybody else. Sometimes it's a completely different spectrum. I have many people, all day they tell me how much they hate other people. Oh, I hate Jewish people, and he's a Jew. Oh, I hate women, and she's a woman sometimes. Or he needs to get married to one. Oh, I hate this. Oh, I hate this. Oh, I hate all of them, they hate people. Oh, Habibi, look at yourself. Look at yourself. Yeah, but you talk about other people, Rabbi. I warn people about other people. I don't talk about other people just to make it entertaining. I warn you so you don't fall. I tell you about a hole that's in the road that you may not be aware of because you're paying attention to your world, and I happen to be a person that crossed that road. So I'm telling you, there's a hole in the road. Don't walk over it. Simple. You are too focused on other things. You talk about other people, you hate other people, and your whole life is focused on other people. You're ruining your life. Why? Because your life is simply missing you. It's missing yourself. You're worried about everybody else's stuff, everybody else's life, everybody else's things, and not yourself. And that can easily make a person not only miserable, not only unhappy, but worse yet, can make a person evil.